Hey everybody, it's me Abhipsha and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do art. I'm going to be following art tutorial from Drawing with Waffles, and I love her art. She does it great, so I'm going to be following it. So let's get on to the video. Now let's watch the video. Here it is.
Circles wherever there are joints or where her head is, and I also put two big circles where her torso is and then where her bum is, and then I'll use lines to connect the circles. When I draw hands, I like to do the circles for the hands before I do the elbows, because you know where the shoulders are, and then you choose where the hands go, so you draw circles there too. And then from there you can decide where the elbow goes, because if I try to do the elbow first, it's always
Okay, now she's drawing the
a very awkward and unnatural
elbow.
position, so I like to use that to fix that problem. And then once you figured out the overall pose of your character, you just fill in the meat onto the skeleton, which is why it's called the skeleton technique, because now it's time to put on the meat, because sketching is all done. Well, not completely done, but now it's time for the fun part where you actually get to draw the character, and you don't have to worry about the pose because you've already laid out pretty strict guidelines to where all the body parts should be, so they're not all flopping all over the place. Of the three techniques I'm going to be explaining today, besides like the fourth one, which is basically what I do, this is the one that I use the most. It's best for sketches that aren't going to involve a lot of foreshortening and simple poses like standing up straight, or like the one I did here. This one's not too simple, but it's also not too complicated, so you can use that technique for this sketch just fine, and you can see it turned out pretty good. One problem you can run into when using this technique is sometimes your pictures will look really, really stiff, but you know, that's something that is best improved with practice, or you can use the next technique, which is the scribble technique. Ooh, what a beautiful segue, Waffles. Good job. High five to myself. The second technique I'm going to be talking about today.
So let's do the first technique. So first she told us to draw some circles, like first she told us to draw some circles. Then the arm like this, and yeah, pretty much like that. And the other arm, I'm not good at drawing circles, and you can see by the video that my circles are elaborate, and yeah. I think the legs are kind of tilted in that side. I'm not thinking that it is a good side of the tilt. The eyes. Wait. I usually don't draw this eye, so I'm not good at it. I'm a total noob at this style of drawing. Nose and the lips. At last, the eyes turned out pretty much, you know, tilted, and I'm not expecting that, and it's like something. And yeah, that's what she drew like. And this is the skeleton technique. And yeah, let's get on to the scribble technique, the next one. And yeah, here is the video.
So, the second technique I'm going to be talking about today is the scribble technique. So in your mind, you have a basic idea of what you want the sketch to look like or the pose you want the sketch to be. So with the scribble technique, you can just start scribbling and figure out what kind of shape you want this to be in, and you don't have to worry about it looking bad because it's gonna look bad and it doesn't matter. So you just keep scribbling and you're like, oh, well, a leg would kind of be here, and you're scribbling and like a body's here and legs are here, and okay, it's starting to look like something. And then once you have a nice big messy scribble that only you can decipher, because if you pass that on to someone else, they'd be like, that's a scribble, excuse me. You take that and then you start, adding the details, like, oh, that's where the chin was because I decided earlier, and then that's where her shoulder is, that's where her elbow is, that's where her hand is, and eventually you start like building a pose out of scribbles. I like to use this technique for action poses, like when I draw Avatar fan art, or if I just want to draw someone kicking butt, I use the scribble technique. However, I do have to say that this technique is really, really, really hard to do if you're a perfectionist, because you have to start out with a very messy looking thing, and if you're kind of a perfectionist, like I am at times, sometimes you'll get really, really frustrated and just have to walk away. But that's okay. Maybe this isn't the greatest technique for you, but it also teaches you that, something ugly can become something beautiful. You just have to keep chiseling away. So this technique is kind of like, starting out with a block of clay, which is the scribble, and then the details are when you slowly chip away at it and you start to see the pose. I think that's a pretty good analogy. When it comes to the final sketch, when you use the scribble technique, it is going to look really messy, even when you finish and you're erasing bits. There's still going to be a lot more density to all the lines, and there'll be extra lines in random places that aren't completely necessary.
So guys, now the next one is the scribble technique. So she pretty much did some drawing lines, so I'm going to follow her instructions and draw lines. Face over here, arms over here, and then the other arm. Over here. Next is the body and her legs. It's pretty much good, going great, but I don't know what to do about the eyes. Yeah. Yeah, there it is, and then another lines to make the hair. A sweet little bow. The nose. The eyes and the face. Yeah, that's the technique, and I'm not comfortable with the eyes, and it's making it look like an alien. And so yeah, let's go to the doodling technique, and this one is the scribble technique. And here is the video of the other technique.
You're just, doodling. This usually starts for me with eyes, because I'll doodle eyes all over my notebooks at school and everything. So I'll have eyes, and I'm like, I'm gonna add a body. So then I add like a chin, and then I start adding like a body, and it's some random pose, and it's usually very disproportionate, and it's just doodling because you're listening to the teacher like give his lecture, and you're doodling at the same time. So you're not like putting your full mental capabilities into your sketch. So you're just doodling Why I called the technique go with flow or just go with it or whatever I ended up calling it is because I usually have a pen when I'm doing this, and there's no way to erase a pen. So whatever line I make, I have to go with it. And that's why these sketches can sometimes be very, very hard to control. As soon as you make a mistake, you have to use that mistake to your fullest advantage. Whenever I come across an artist who actually creates actual pictures using this technique, half of me is awed because I'm like, why are you creating that masterpiece and you're not using any guidelines? How do you know the foot should be there? You just put the foot there and it looks perfect and you just go, Mind is blown. And then the other half of me is like, no, why did I draw like that? That's not how you're supposed to draw. That's the worst way to draw ever. Why did I make such perfect pictures when I draw like that? That's stupid. So I end up being conflicted between two completely separate emotions, and then I just proceed to pass out. Which kind of leads me to say, there really isn't any right way to sketch. Sketching is just putting your ideas on paper and creating what you need to see so that you can create the final illustration. Or if it's just doodling, that's what it ends up being, and it never sees any more light of day. There are some amazing artists that can create, beautiful masterpieces with this technique. I'm not one of them, but there are people that do it. And it kind of just goes to show you that whichever sketching technique you decide and you use, and it's the one you practice the most, is the one that's going to work the best for you. Not because it's the best technique out there, but because it's the one you have the most experience with. If I look through my notebooks for school, I see a bunch of pictures, all the faces are nice and detailed, and I put a lot of effort into them, and then they have random bodies just shooting out from their heads that don't really match them, and they don't really work that well with them. In the end, this picture really didn't turn out that bad, even though I didn't really use guidelines for this particular sketch. But I do have to just, I believe that is because I've already drawn this girl twice with other previous sketching methods, so I had a basic idea of what it was going to look like. So it turned out fine, for this video, so I understand that it did turn out okay, and it doesn't look terrible. And the last technique I'm going to be showing you is the one I personally use. So when I'm sketching, I like to use the circle and line skeleton.
So guys, as you saw, she started with the face. I'm going to start with the face too. So and then the eyes. I'm just so bad at the eye. And I guess this eye will turn out great. The eyeball. So I'm going to change the hairstyle now. And the hands. And yeah, it's done. The third technique, that is the doodling. So guys, by using these techniques, my favorite one is the doodling one, and then I'm gonna draw a girl in that technique and see how it goes. Let's draw the face. Now that's great. the eye. And yeah, like that. The hair, I'm just gonna make the starting of the hair. Like that, yes. And just like that. Just like that. Oops, the hand is too bony. And so guys, this is how the overall look, this is how the overall drawing turned out to be. And I actually can see that I drew a ballerina and I had a slight problem in drawing the eyes and the hand I did from the previous one, and I fixed this hand and some shoes. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Make sure you subscribe it, like it, or comment about what video I should do next. Goodbye.